Hey guys, it's Leo here, and today we're going to be talking about where I've been, what I've been up to, and what's going on. So, this intro is for anybody who doesn't want to stick around because we're going to be talking about our full-length story right after the segment, but this is just kind of for people who just want to know what's going on. Pretty much, we're I didn't get fired. First things first, I did not get fired from Blossomcraft. I'm actually still a partner, um, but I was debating on quitting, and it was because, well, if you guys know me and know how I kind of like ran this whole channel, how I made a living for myself, it was through Stream Element sponsorships. So Stream Element sponsorships is pretty much they provide us with games, and if you guys maybe you have done it before, but pretty much we provide you guys with incentives through Blossomcraft cash, and that cash is not generated; it is actually physically mined, manually mined by me. I was playing around like 10, at most like 15 hours a day, making as much as I possibly can in game, and then making these promises for you guys, so you guys can earn some more cash for yourself on Blossomcraft. That was pretty much our formula on how we made, I guess, this whole thing sustainable this last like year and a half or so. That entire formula, unfortunately, is not working anymore for us. Pretty much, uh, I guess I don't know if it's Stream Elements side or if it's Twitch's side, but last year at our very peak, we were making at most like maybe to be transparent with you guys, we are making at most like $5,000 a month. And now we're even lucky if we can even see like $500 from the company. So of course, me moving in with my dad and with my sister, my biggest hope was to help him out and uh, help my dad out with the mortgage and everything. And unfortunately, it's just not sustainable anymore. So, what is our course of action now moving forward? Well, I'm not going to be dropping Blossomcraft entirely. I just can't afford to be playing at the extent that I did before. But I told Legion that I would still stick around for, let's say, like new crates, uh, art fair, just kind of like modern events. If I get invited to something, I will make a YouTube video on it. If it wants to be highlighted, or I think it's something that's interesting, I'm gonna treat it more like a hobby now. Like pretty much like how my first year with Blossomcraft, I kind of just treated it as a hobby. It was only until like maybe like 2024 that I treated it more like a job because I was able to. And we're gonna get into the full story if you guys want to watch. This is gonna be a pretty long video to be honest. This intro I didn't really script, so I'm sorry if I sound like I'm like kind of like rambling here. Um, but yeah, so moving forward, we're not going to be putting as much time as we did into Blossomcraft, but we still are going to be a partner. Now, what we want to be doing now is kind of just treating it more like a hobby, a side gig, if you can call it that. And most of our Twitch content is just going to be mainly Maple Story. So I don't know if you guys have been seeing all the recent content that, or the live stream, sorry, that we've been having. It's mainly just Maple Story. I just can't I can't play Blossomcraft right now. I'm a bit stressed out. I'm trying to figure out a job as of right now. Though it as of right now it's actually Halloween. So today, as I'm filming this segment, it is Halloween. Uh, I'm giving myself until like maybe like the end of the year. So we do have a little bit of money saved up to just allow myself to just relax. So I'm just gonna be chilling out. Just gonna stream whenever I want to and just try to get my life on track again because it has been like a full year and a half that I haven't worked a 9 to 5 or your traditional job. I've been spending the last year and a half doing Twitch and YouTube. So it is going to be a bit of a change. I got to get myself into physical shape again. And what I'm planning to do is, well, I mean, it's still up in the air. The job that I'm hoping to try to go for is probably fix computers again and just work on that for a little bit, maybe freelance it also. I'm still trying to figure it out, honestly. But for those of you guys who have stuck around or will continue to stick around, I want to say thank you. It's been a wild ride, a wild year and a half. You guys honestly helped me make my dreams come true. I've always wanted to become a content creator. I've always wanted to try to do this full time. And honestly, huge thank you to the community for allowing me to live my dream as a content creator. But I think it's time to throw in the towel and I don't know, just figure shit out, you know. I'm just trying to navigate life again and figure my shit out. But one thing's for certain, and it's that I know for a fact that I still want to be making content, whether it's Blossomcraft, whether it's Maple Story, whatever it is. This is still going to be my dream job. You know, I got to live it, and I did really enjoy it, and it's something that I'm willing to fight for moving forward. I just need to figure how we can navigate that. And you know, when it comes to life, if you guys are an adult, you guys will understand that unfortunately money is important, and you can't really do anything for free, at least not to the extent that I did it this last year. I put in so much time and effort, and some of you guys may have noticed that. And yeah, that's kind of like what we're going to be doing moving forward. So you guys won't be seeing me on Blossomcraft as often as you did this last year. It's not really a goodbye, to be honest, because I'm still gonna be around. The Discord's gonna still be up. I'm still gonna be here. I just won't be on as much anymore. So yeah. Now, with that being said, I guess this is the part where we'll get into the full story from start to or beginning to end for Blossomcraft. My entire journey, pretty much my life this last 4 years. So I hope you guys enjoy. All right, so this is our story from beginning to now, or end, which is basically now. It starts off in January of 2022. So make sure to grab a snack, some water, because we're going podcast style. So January, and I'm also going to read off my phone because there's just so much that happened throughout this entire journey that I just can't. I have bullet points essentially, and timeline. So January of 2022, to kick things off. So we got kicked out of our grandparents' house, and this was way before I started even. I did not stream at this time. Like I was actually in school. But we spent the entirety of January homeless while in school. Yeah, let me actually freehand this. We got kicked out January 2022, and yeah, I was in school at the time for video productions, basically film school. And so I was kind of freaking out a little bit. You know, I was maybe 22 at the time, and I was just trying to get my video production certificate or certification. So I spent like 1 month trying to figure out where to live, and I was pretty much just couch hopping. I wasn't like traditionally homeless. Like I wasn't like on the streets. I was like just couch hopping, trying to call up whoever I could at the time to figure out where I could just sleep, right? And around that time, my classes were Zoom classes. So what I would do during the day is I would go to like a Starbucks or like a Tim Hortons because I'm Canadian, and I would use their free Wi-Fi, attend the classes, do my homework there, and then just find a place to sleep for the night. And then we end up actually finding a place in February. So about like a month later, we found a place with our friend Julius. So Julius, if you're watching this, bro, thank you so much. We ended up staying for like 2 years, but we'll start off small. But Julius, thank you very much, man. That's his home is pretty much where I started this whole Blossom crafting, and we'll get into all of that. So a couple months passed after moving into with Julius, and we actually dropped out of school. So we drop out of school. We are now kind of like tackling adulthood. We end up getting a job as a full-time manager at this place called Sport Check. I think this might be a Canadian company only, but we started working there. I became my position was footwear lead. So I was pretty much in charge of like, ad management. It was actually a really, really good experience. We ended up staying there for about like a year or so. And I think I got taught a lot of things about management, and it was a lot of things that indirectly, I think, like transferred over to my position with Blossomcraft. Like I think my professionalism and everything, I was really, really able to maintain throughout my entire journey of Blossomcraft, thanks to my position as being a manager at a clothing store. So that was cool. So yeah, I drop out of school. Then fast forward to June 2022, so another month after that all happened, I meet a girl, and it was my last ever relationship. But this is June of 2022, which is also the month of my birthday. But we meet a girl, we start dating, and life was good. I pretty much had a full-time job, I had a girlfriend, and life was great. I was young, but I felt like, yeah, I'm getting my shit together. I felt honestly really, really confident in myself at that time. Um, but yeah. So there's not really much details after that. So we're fast forwarding to August. So from June to August of 2022, she actually introduces me to Blossomcraft. Blossomcraft mentioned. So she introduces me to Blossomcraft, the first ever Minecraft server that I really, really started investing myself into. I told myself that I just wanted to spend more time with her. And at the time, she was just playing on this Minecraft server, and I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And she tells me that it's Blossomcraft. So I was like, "Okay." I actually initially joined just to spend more time with her and maybe build up our relationship, because I thought that was the right thing to do. Like just bonding, right? So yeah, I started playing casually, and when I found out that there was like custom items on Blossomcraft, I was freaking out. I was like, whoa. But then I found out that you need to spend real money, and I was like, shoot. But then I realized that you don't have to spend real money, and I was like, yes. So I really went through this like roller coaster of like, do I like this game? Do I not? But I do. And yeah, so I was kind of like playing pretty casually. But starting from August of 2022, I play until September 2022, and I find out that there is actually a partner program. I was looking through the Discord. I remember this. I was looking through the Blossomcraft Discord, and I see in their FAQ that there's a partnership application. So I was like, oh. And kind of looking back on my life a little bit, back when I was a bit younger, I was maybe 23 at this time. But then looking back, I around 18, 19, I do have some streaming experience. My Twitch account was at 400 followers. I maybe had like 200 subscribers on YouTube, and I was also in video productions. Remember, I was filming, or not filming. I was learning how to film. I was learning how to work on sets, and I was working with a lot of equipment. And so I was like, wait, this this might be a good opportunity for me. So what we ended up doing in September, after finding out that there's a partner program, well, we actually submitted an application. Which then, actually, I remember this now, I didn't write it down, but they reached back out to me and they're like, hey, listen, like, actually, that wasn't supposed to be there. Like, and I was like, oh, okay. I remember this now. Yeah, they told me that there's actually no applications open. They just forgot to remove it off the Discord. So I was like, oh, okay, that's fine, whatever. But I do end up actually streaming Blossomcraft anyways. I was like, you know what? Like a partnership, like even if partnership or not, I'm gonna stream this server because I really, really like it. I'm having a really, really good time. And Blossomcraft is like an economy server, so like I grew up playing a lot of like grindy games and stuff like that, which kind of I transferred all that knowledge into Blossomcraft. So like, money was essentially power, and to make money, you had to, of course, do things in the game to make that money. And so I went down the rabbit hole of like learning, mining. like mining items, different loadouts that could help you make even more money. So that's what I think that's the one thing that really helped me enjoy Blossomcraft to the extent that it did, and what kept me around so much and for so long was that I just wanted to make more and more and more money because I could do so much more. And not only that, but since I was working full time at Sport Check as a manager, and also keep in mind I had a girlfriend, so I had to, I made the commitment of spending at least one day with her. I had to work 5 days a week, and that left only one day left in the week where I was able to stream. But I decided to do it anyways. I was like, you know what, this is really fun. We streamed for maybe like 5 hours on average when we first started. And what we would do, or what I would do, is after work, I remember I streamed every Saturday. After work from Monday through Friday, whatever, I would stay up. So I was not sleeping that much around this time. I would set up scavenger hunts. And what we would do is I would actually buy, like, I would set up like pretty much like a buy chest, and whoever finds that buy chest gets himself either a rank or a key of their choice, all coming out of my own pocket, by the way. And we did this every single week. Sometimes I would give multiple because I just felt like really nice, and I was also in the one of the more happier times in my life, and I was like, you know what, I want to spread some joy on the server that I really really love. Sometimes we would just give out like a money because like I was also like really really invested into this economy server, right? I played a lot. I made a lot of time for it, and like honestly, I remember I just did not get enough sleep. I did not get adequate sleep these couple of months around this time, which was like around September. But yeah, that's pretty much the entirety of September. And then October rolls around of 2022. We attended a auction live on Blossomcraft, who was hosted by our now partner manager, D. So, yeah, we actually end up, like, I guess we were live on stream, and we hear that there's an auction being taken place. And I was like, oh, sure. I had maybe like $1 million. I had like maybe $1 million that I was like saving up because I didn't really know what to spend it on. But and then what they were doing is they were giving out mystery boxes with like Blossom items. I remember this day so clearly. It was actually a really fun day. And yeah, we go in, and I realized this is kind of an asshole move, but I buy everything. I pretty much buy everything. They give you like what D was doing was they were giving us like a hint of what was inside the box and how many items were inside of it. And if it like intrigued me, I would outbid everybody. And we spent our entire $1 million on this auction. And I think that was one of the more pivotal moments because that's when I got introduced to so many different Blossom items. The boxes they were given was really, really good at the time. And I got to see so many items. I made so many trades with them. I remember it was a really, really good time, man. But then the Blossomcraft team after that saw potential in me and decided to move forward with a partnership. So I guess they were watching. I guess like I caught maybe the attention of D as I was like, auctioning. Like, and I think I was probably acting silly as well. Like I was like giggling or something and just kind of putting on a show. And I think D kind of caught light of this and was like, oh, this kid is kind of entertaining. Like this kid is kind of funny. And then they kind of caught light of what I was doing with the events and everything. And so Legion, the server owner, I think also saw some potential, or at least maybe D and the team convinced him to be like, hey, let's start up this partnership program. This Leo guy seems really interesting, and he seems pretty dedicated to this. So, yeah, we end up saying yes, and we tell our girlfriend, we're like, dude, we're a partner, and she didn't really care. But the most important thing was I was excited, right? Like I was super super stoked, and I was like, yes. And yeah, so from October to December, we start doing this partnership thing. We kept it going. We kept our routine that we built up for ourselves. And for anybody who wants to become a partner, like just stream Blossomcraft. I mean, if you seem talented enough, the team will reach out to you. It's not impossible. And there are waves of like partnerships like applications that come out from time to time. So like if you really want to do this, like if you really want to make content for Blossomcraft, I'd say just do it, not for the hopes of getting a partnership with Blossomcraft, but just doing it because you want to. And that was kind of my mentality at the time. I just wanted to, like, whether or not this partnership thing would even open up in the first place. I knew that I just enjoyed myself a lot and playing this game, and that I was going to do it regardless. And there was also a level of professionalism that I think carried that I think really maybe influenced their decision as well. So yeah. So fast forward from October to December of 2022, I get dumped by my girlfriend who introduced me to Blossomcraft. So here, actually this one's really long. This month was actually crazy for me. So December of 2022, same time my grandma actually passes away on my mom's side. So it was like, I mean, dude, that was one of the hardest times in my life. I lost my relationship and I lost my grandma. And I also haven't seen my dad in a while. Remember, I got kicked out of my grandparents' house. This is my grandparents on my dad's side, by the way. If you guys want to make sense of it, my grandma on my mom's side passed away, and my grandparents from my dad's side is the one who kicked me out of the house at the beginning of this whole thing. And yeah, I haven't seen my dad in a while. Since I was like pretty caught up, like, you know, doing my own thing with Blossomcraft, girlfriend, work, you know, like I had so much going on, you know, and I haven't seen my dad in a long time. And my dad also lives in a different city. So it was very, very hard for me to also, not only that, but now that I'm thinking about it, I also dropped out of school, right? So I was afraid to tell my dad that I dropped out of school because, and I was kind of like keeping up this persona that, yeah, dad, I'm in school still and everything, but I was actually just like focused on, like, you know, my full-time job and my girlfriend and Blossomcraft. So yeah. So after getting dumped, I was at her house, got dumped. On the way home, I actually stopped by my grandparents' place because it was close and I had a key still. So I just wanted to wash up because I was crying. You know, I was sobbing. I was like, okay, on my way home, I was like, okay, before I go home, this is like my grandparents' house is on the way. So I was like, okay, I'll step in. And plus, like I'll step in for a moment because my brother was still living there, so I was like, I wasn't really that afraid, even though I got kicked out. And plus, the one who kicked me out was my grandpa, and he was in Vietnam at the time. So I was like, my grandma and I, we're tight. So I was like, if I bump into her, I'll say hi and everything and whatnot. She wouldn't mind. And knowing that my grandpa was in Vietnam, I'm like, okay, you know what? Like it's gonna be chill. I can maybe just talk to my grandma after washing up. But my dad was the one who ends up was at the door. So I actually opened the door, and the door opens up to the kitchen. Vancouver housing is kind of weird, but in that way. But my dad was actually there, and he sees me, and I'm just like, you know, just like my face is just freaking like I was sobbing, right? I was crying, and so he tries to comfort me in the best way that he can, or the best way that he knows. He's like a very like tiger dad, tiger parent. Like in Asian, search up what tiger parent is. It's pretty much like a parent who like shows love, like, you know, very, very differently, and it's very tough on their child. It's kind of like my dad. So he sees me crying, and he's like, oh, like, you know, why are you crying, right? And I was just like, my girlfriend dumped me, and whatever. And then we actually catch up and whatnot. And he's like, and then he tells me in his best way, at this time, and this is also Christmas, by the way. Like I think this was on Christmas. I'm not gonna lie with you guys. He tells me, he's like, hey, listen, like, you just need to focus on your future and your life. You know, you got to take care of yourself. But like, you know, with his kind of half broken English, and I was like, you're right. I'm like, why am I it was kind of just like, even though I just got dumped and everything, and I think like your emotions can really influence, you know, the way that you think and the way that you feel. But when he told me that, I kind of like was like, you know what, like that kind of makes sense, like that really does make sense to me. And so I was like, yeah. So he takes me home, and After I get home that day, I pretty much just lock in. Like I lock in. This is now 2023. So 2022 is now over. That's kind of wraps up that entire year 2022. So that's pretty much the introduction to Blossomcraft, my life before that, and so forth. Now moving forward to 2023. Uh January, we kind of rebuild, we build our own routine, whatever. We're like just trying to pick ourselves up and trying to take things slow, right? Like, a lot of things just happened. My grandma passed away and I got dumped. So I was just taking it one day at a time. But in February of 2023, we dropped our very first Blossomcraft video, which was like a adamantium money per hour video. So this was kind of the start of this whole like money per hour series and just kind of like dabbling with YouTube, because I was like, now that I didn't have like a girlfriend, I had an extra day freed up essentially. So now I have 2 days free, like one day for stream. And so I guess I kind of realized, I was like, wait, like I don't know what to do now, because I typically spend this day with my girlfriend, now ex-girlfriend. So I was like, you know what, let's try to start tackling some YouTube videos. Let's because I was only streaming. So we dropped our very first Blossomcraft video. And yeah, that kind of paved the way for us. We were like, oh wait, that was kind of easy. I think it got like 1,000 views. So I was like, oh, like to for 1,000 people on Blossomcraft to come out and watch the video. I was like, wow, that's amazing. That's a lot of growth, and that's I like that. I like that. So the entirety of 2023, we lock in, maintaining our once a week schedule, sometimes twice, since we had more time out of a relationship, juggling more PC commissions, learning more about Blossomcraft, and genuinely getting better at the game. We built an event team that consisted of my sister and her boyfriend at the time. We consistently pushed out events every week, building our brand and reputation. We also yeah, so like we just kind of locked in, right? Like I don't know what more to say here. We also dropped our management position at Sport Check mid 2023 and decided to just fix computers with a company part-time, as well as work at Foot Locker. So we traded our full-time position for 2 part-time jobs. I thought it was more flexible at the time, and it was actually kind of working out a little bit. Like and keep in mind, like I wasn't making any money from Blossomcraft. It was still just my hobby. And thank God for that, because I was super depressed. Like I was like, I was just, I needed to take my mind off things, because I couldn't be alone. I didn't want to go home. Well, like if I went home, I wanted something to do, which was like making videos for Blossomcraft or streaming it. And if that was done, then I just didn't know what else to do with my time. So I wanted to just keep myself busy even more. So we did that for the entirety of 2023, by the way. So it looks like we didn't really write much for 2023, but that's pretty much how it went down. And then early December of 2023. So this now of the December 23, we kind of split into early and late. So a lot of things happened here. So first things first, I experienced burnout. I remember we spent an entire year locking in, and we weren't making any money from this, by the way. And we were working like 2 jobs plus streaming, so that's like 3. I wouldn't consider streaming a job at the time. And I was making videos for Blossomcraft. We actually released a lot of content, edited those videos. Those weren't, that wasn't easy for me. But we spent too much time and energy locking in, wondering if it was even worth it anymore, and if I should just drop everything we built. I was pretty much depressed, right? Like, I think from December 2022, when I got dumped, all the way to December 2023, I didn't allow myself to process my emotions, essentially. Like, I didn't process it properly. I thought that, I think at the time I thought that if I just keep myself busy, I would move on, right? I would move on from my girlfriend at the time. Like I thought that time would heal, but I think how I went about that was completely wrong. And so I think a full year later, it actually hits me, and I'm still sad. And I'm just like, wait, like why am I still hung up about this girl? And I'm just like super depressed. Maybe it was like the seasonal depression at the time as well. But around that same time, and I was thinking, like, I was like, dude, is this even worth? Like, I'm thinking, like, is this even worth it? Should I just drop Blossomcraft entirely? So I was actually thinking of quitting in December of 2023, early. But at the same time, my mom invites me to go visit her and my sister, because my sister at the time, if you guys know me right now, my sister actually lives with me now. But we'll get into all of that, soon. This is actually a really fun timeline. But at the time, my sister was living with my mom, and they both invited me to come visit. Now, keep in mind, I did not have a good relationship with my mom. I haven't seen her in maybe like over 5 years or so. We left things up like on bad terms. We made up now, which we'll like get into and whatnot. But and like my mom offered to pay for everything, and for me and my brother to come down, because my brother lives in Vancouver with me, so at the time, so I was like, okay, like this is something to consider. I am going through a lot of stress right now, so like I thought about it, and I was like, hey, you know what, like let's do it. Like fuck it, we ball, right? um so they book us our flight. Now comes the hard part. I need to figure out how the heck I can take time off work, because I don't have just one job. I have two part-time jobs. And so at first I asked my managers at Foot Locker, I was like, hey, can I book time off? And they said it was too short notice. I need to get somebody to cover my shift. And I was like, shit. Okay, let's check the PC repair company. I asked them, and they're like, yeah, they actually liked me a lot. They liked me a lot. I did work really, really hard with them, and I was with them for a while now. And I was like, hey, like, listen, like, this is the situation. I'm gonna go see my mom. I haven't seen her in a really, really long time. And I'm like, I didn't tell them I was depressed or anything like that, but I think they were able, I think my manager at the time was able to read that sense of like urgency, and that sense of like, I need this right now. And so that company was like, yeah, you know what, like we'll give you that time off, like you do what you need to do. So I was like, but then Foot Locker was like, no, you need to get somebody. And plus, like, I wasn't really tight with Foot Locker like that. I kind of just was working there because I needed money, right? And I think they know that. I would literally just showed up, did my job, and I just left. Whereas at Geek Squad, I think I built more. I guess I just said the name of the company. Geek Squad, I pretty much built more relationships, and the people actually there did care about me. So yeah, I actually I think I paid somebody to take my shift from Foot Locker. I'm pretty sure I paid somebody to just take my shift because I just wanted I wanted to go on this trip so badly. So I realized I didn't even need to use my notes there. That was pretty good. Wow. So that was like pretty much early December. Our trip was planned for late December. So like around like Christmas time. So we were actually gonna visit for Christmas. So I was like, okay. We end up getting the shift covered. We go to Montreal and everything, and let me just read through this real quick. Yeah, so we go to Montreal to see my mom. I cry because I'm emotional. First time seeing my mom since her mother passed in 2022. Remember, my grandma passed away, who was her mother, and so I got to see her for the first time since then, and I got pretty emotional. It was kind of weird because like I guess my mom had a video of like, or my mom showed me a video of my grandma pretty much like she's. I was like, how did it happen, right? I was like, I asked more specifics and everything, and she's like, oh, I guess she just like passed away, like she, I guess, just of age and whatnot. So I was like, okay. And then yeah, it's kind of weird because she was like, I actually have a video of it, and I'm like, okay, no, I don't want to see that. Or not a video of it, but like because my grandma was in Vietnam at the time, and she was monitoring her, I guess, and so she had like security cameras around the facility that she had my grandma at, something like that. I don't know the entire story to the extent. I was also emotional when I was like hearing all of this, and we were both like pretty like choked up and whatnot. So yeah, don't want to get into too much specifics there, but yeah, like and then we pretty much catch up. We make up for lost time because we haven't seen each other in like 5 years. And before this, like I resented my mom. Like my parents are divorced and whatnot. So like going through all like how much hardship that I had to go through and everything. I was just like, dude, why couldn't my parents just be parents? Like even like I don't care that they divorced, but why couldn't they just? I think I was constantly just kind of feeling bad for myself, which I only recently stopped doing now. Like not now, but like maybe last year. Um, but yeah, like I was always like in this constant state of like, dude, like why does my parents hate me? Why did my parents want me to have such a freaking hard life, like yeah, why couldn't they just like why can't they just be mature and like be like co-parents, right? uh and seeing the emotional maturity and the character developments, movies was a big part of my life growing up, and watching like movies and seeing like the Western families do the right thing all the time. And I was just like, why can't my family be like this, and so I resented my parents a little bit. My dad and I were getting better at the time at communicating, but like since I wasn't talking to my mom for a long time, my hatred just grew and grew and grew. And I think like that built that built a lot of hatred in me. And so yeah, when I saw her, I was able to just put that all down and try to understand her more. But half forgiving, half forgiving. I was like, you know what, like I have bigger, like at the time I was like, I have bigger worries right now other than like you. But I was still very grateful for my mom around that time, because she paid for my ticket to come down, and she showed me a good time. Like she brought me to a church and like a really big church in Montreal. If you guys are wondering where she's from Montreal. I used to live there in Canada. And pretty much she brings me to this church and she's like, hey, before we go, I don't want to pressure you into trying to change your beliefs at the, I don't really believe in anything. But she's like, I don't want to pressure you. I just want you to have a good time. I want to show you like, what I believe in and what helped me, as a person grow. And she brought me to a church and I was like, okay, sure. It was actually really fun because it felt like a museum. Like it was like so big, and to be able to like see this really big cathedral, I was like, whoa, it's awesome. And then it kind of just like, we're walking around and I got to the point where we entered this really, really big room with a bunch of benches. I don't know what that's called, by the way. If you guys know what it is, maybe leave it down to the comments. But just rows and rows and rows of chairs, and we walk through and then we go sit down. I just go sit down because we've been walking for a little bit. I'm tired. I'm just sitting down there, and it's quiet in there, and I'm just thinking to myself, and I'm just like I was like, all right, God. This is what I was saying. I was like, God, I guess it's just you and me right now, right? I was just like, what, like what do I have to lose, right? I was going through one of the hardest times in my life. Um, I was like, what do I have to lose? I closed my eyes and I was just thinking, I'm like, God, like please, like just like give me a sign or something. Like I don't even know. I feel so lost right now. I'm working so hard. I'm working my ass off to the bone. And like, do I continue streaming? Just give me something. I'm desperate. I need your help. I need your help. And I know I don't like really like do this, but like this is I feel like as if this is my one opportunity too. Um so yeah, and I'm like, okay. And then we leave, right? And then I just had that moment to myself, just a moment of like helplessness. And I think like religion is one of the things that people kind of fall to when they have nothing else left. And I was definitely one of those moments myself. And now this next part, which is pretty much January 2024, pretty much we leave Montreal. We say bye to my mom, say bye to my sister. My sister was still living with my mom at the time. We're sad, we're crying, like, oh, whatever. Bye mom, bye my sister. It's a weird way to say it, but yeah, pretty much. Bye. Going back home. Time to face reality. Time to face reality, right? Like, and I go and what do we write here? I actually felt refreshed on the way back. Like, on the way back home, I felt like refreshed in a weird way. Maybe it was because I worked so hard for an entire year straight that maybe that's what I needed at the time. I just needed just like a week of just like being able to just not think about anything and just try to enjoy myself, right? And so when I did get back home, I kind of made the decision to move out of Julius's place. Again, thank you, Julius, man. Your place, and your family really helped me out during those hard times. But we made the decision to, like, unlift that burden from Julius and his family and go live with some roommates, which was actually more expensive. But I was like, whatever, I'll figure it out. I was like, I'll figure it out. It was like $800, maybe around like 900 to almost 1,000 a month after like utilities and food, whatever. So it was a lot of money. It was like $1,000 living expenses per month, which is, not looking back now, it's actually not that bad. That's pretty doable. But keep in mind, like, I was making nothing from Twitch. I was making nothing from streaming, making content. I was working 2 part-time jobs, in which I was like trying to juggle the hours and make work. What I would actually do at the time when I was working at Foot Locker and Geek Squad was that after I would work a 9 to 5 at Geek Squad, and then I would do a 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Foot Locker. That's what I would do, guys. It was crazy. It was insane. And going back home from Montreal after visiting my mom, I was actually anticipating on quitting. Before I visited Montreal, sorry, I anticipated on quitting. But oh no, there was one big thing that I forgot to mention. Oh my freaking gosh. Sorry. I should have read this. I think my last day in Montreal, and this is what kind of like also alleviated a lot of like the stress and everything. But I tell my mom, because my mom knew, my sister would put my streams up on the TV and my mom would see it and she's like, oh my God, is that Leo? And they would watch me for that entire year, right? Just like pretty much performing, being, just locking in, right? Just working really freaking hard. And my mom saw that entire year of just like me streaming, and she actually tuned in, but she never told me until that day where she was like, I watched you. And I was telling her I'm gonna quit, right? Like, I'm like, I don't think this is going to work out for me, because even though I was having a lot of fun doing it, I was just too stressed out and I just wanted to just focus on work. And then she's like, hey, she tells me, she's like, yo, listen. She didn't say yo, listen, sorry. She says, hey, listen, back when you were 8, back when you were 9, whatever, back when you were a kid, when I was raising you, all the time you would run around with a camera and tell me that you wanted to become a YouTuber. You've always wanted to create something. And I think in that moment I realized, yo, you're right. You're right. I did run around with the camera a lot, and I was always trying to figure out making like videos and stuff. Like, no matter how stupid it was just like I always wanted to just make videos. And it all started off with like stop motion videos with my Star Wars action figures, Pokemon shiny hunting, Minecraft Let's Plays, and like I was like, you're right. Like, I did always wanted to make videos growing up, and that's the one reason also why I went to film productions. And I think it was just that moment where I was like, dude, like I am like, even if it's not making me money, even if it's not working out, even after a year, as long as it's something that I truly want. And in that moment, I was able to kind of reevaluate and realize that, you know what, this is something I've wanted for a long time, and I still want this. So, you know what? Looking back, maybe my mom was the sign. Maybe my mom was the sign. When I was like at the church, I was like, oh, God, give me a sign. And maybe that moment was that. But there's also another part of the story where I also felt like it all kind of lines up really well. But yeah, I go home. I make the decision to move out of Julius's place and then live with some roommates. I feel very refreshed after the Montreal trip. And I also find out about something called Stream Elements sponsorships. So Stream Elements sponsorships, or Stream Elements, is a company that pretty much provides you, the streamer, with like these gaming opportunities. Now how it worked was, you get a player to play, and as they reach certain goals, you make money per goal that they reach. And so I was like, okay, like, this is cool. This is money. right? Like this is something. Let's give it a shot in January. And this is like 2 months before my anticipation to move to another house. But yeah, I do it. And I think our very first one was raid Shadow Legends with them. We did raid Shadow Legends, and to my surprise, well, we had this whole thing where I was like, you know what? Like, people aren't gonna play for free. Like, people aren't gonna meet these goals for free. What if, like, I have a bit of Blossomcraft cash? What if the first like couple of people who reach like this last goal, what if I just give them some money? I'm not doing anything with it at the time. I'm just playing Blossomcraft, and I'm just hoarding up money to just give it away anyways. Like for these giveaways that we were doing. So why not just give it to people who are willing to put in the time and help me make a living? So our first sponsorship is done, and it's Raid Shadow Legends, and we make $500. And I just kind of stare at it, and I'm just like, what? I just made $500 in 1 week. Yeah, $500 in 1 week, and I was like, but if I can get more players to play, I can make even more money, right? So I was like, okay, but I was like, no, this is probably just a one and done. Raid Shadow Legends is a popular game. So we pick up another sponsor, and I'm like, let's keep testing it out. Let's test it out. And keep in mind, I didn't have any anticipation on quitting my jobs. I just needed to make more money at that time. Hours were really short. You know, I was working at one PC repair company, which was like somewhat steady, but the hours were shared with Best Buy, so they weren't actually giving us a lot of hours. And then Foot Locker as well, you know, the holiday season just ended. They weren't giving out a lot of hours. So I was in this position where I needed money. And so I was like, okay, let's do another sponsor, Honkai Star Rail. We make $300. And I'm like, not as much as Raid Shadow Legends, but we made $300 in a week. And so I was like, and we did that whole formula with how we provided incentives, you know, payments and stuff to players who were playing these sponsors for us. And so I felt like that was my sign to keep going. Because keep in mind, for an entire year and a half, I did not make money from it. I made like at most like $50 a month from Twitch subs. $50 a month, which was something, right? But in the grand scheme of things, where your expenses are pretty expensive per month, it really was nothing, right? So now we're getting to experience actually making real money. And this whole flip, like I pretty much like my entire world just gets flipped in that moment, where in a good way, where I was just severely depressed, and I was just like, wait, I got this. Yeah. So we do a couple more sponsors, and it's pretty consistent. It's around $300 to $500 per week. And I was just like, what the hell? So because of that, we decided to quit Foot Locker, which was the job that we had the least amount of connection to. We were just simply working there. Now actually making money, I was like, okay, my thought process was, let's quit Foot Locker, keep Geek Squad, our PC repair company, and then that time that we have now from Foot Locker, let's put that into spending more time on Blossomcraft, and let's try to make more money so we can actually give more incentives, right? I'm like, the more incentives that I give, the more players are willing to play these sponsors. And so that was kind of the start to all of that. And man, it was good. What else did I write here? Yeah, it was good from April to August. So, or actually, wait. So it was pretty good. March, we moved into our new place. We're getting comfortable. Action plan was remain doing sponsors while fixing PCs. Yep. From April to August, streams were good. So we were streaming about 4 days a week. weren't getting as many hours fixing computers, but sponsorships were popping off, making at most, we were making at most $5,000 a month. That wasn't every single month, but there was maybe a month or two where I did see $5,000, right? And I was just like, wow, that is a lot of money. That's a lot of money for somebody like me playing a game, is making. But also keep in mind, I was providing some pretty crazy incentives at the time. So and with that, I had to mine a lot. You would see me on like 10 to 15 hours a day whenever I had a day off. But yeah, fast forward to August of 2024, I have a mental breakdown at Geek Squad. So actually, let me read this one out. So came to the decision or conclusion of quitting due to the pressure of the workplace environment, which the staff and everything was great. Like, my manager was fine. Everybody was good. Everybody was really, really nice to me. But the problem was, like, the clients that we were facing was not the nicest to me. And I felt like I'm a very like passive person. I'm not the type of person that will raise his voice. I will never have banter with like really anybody. I don't really like conflict, essentially, right? So I think some clients got caught wind of that, and they were like pretty much taking advantage of my timid nature in this workplace, because like pretty much we have like a time limit set for each client that comes in. So they would come in, I'd help them out with their computer, whether it's general questions, but some people would come in and they would take up like an hour of my time, and then my manager would be like, hey, like, you can't spend this much time with a client, tell them to come back another day. And I'm like, hey, listen, like, and then it was just like awkward, I guess, because I'm so like I think I'm too timid, but I would tell the client, I'm like, hey, listen, like, my manager's telling me I gotta go, there's some work in the back. And I guess like just that adding up over time, where I would spend too much time with clients and not enough time actually like, fixing check-ins. My other coworkers also caught wind of this, and they were like, hey, like you're not fixing computers. You're just spending time with clients. And then so I would spend time in the back, and then it was just like the vice versa, where I just didn't want to help customers or clients anymore. And I just wanted to stay in the back. I just wanted to hide back there and do what I was good at. Really, really what I was good at, which was actually working on the computers themselves. And like, yeah, I just had like a mental breakdown. And there's more to that, but that's just kind of the best way that I can kind of like talk about it. I honestly loved the team. I loved the company. It was just, I think the problem was definitely me. It was definitely me at the time. So if anybody wants to shift any blame, it's definitely me. It was definitely me. But also keep in mind, I would, seeing how much I was making, at streaming and stuff, I also was privileged enough to kind of make a decision, right? Whereas not many people has the opportunity to just quit their job right after having a mental breakdown. I actually had the opportunity to just quit my job and just pursue full-time streaming, right? But also I knew that was a big commitment. I'm the type of person that likes security. I like knowing how much I'm gonna make at the end of the month. I worked since I was 16 years old. Right when I turned 16, I got my very first job at McDonald's, and I worked ever since. There was never really a time frame throughout high school and post-secondary and so forth that I have ever spent just not working. So I was a bit of a workaholic, honestly. But and so just the thought of like my paychecks not coming in consistently, I was afraid of. I was honestly scared. So I maybe took like a couple of weeks to think about it, and by the end of August, I ended up resigning. I had a talk with our friend Joaquim, also known as We Are Fury. Go check him out. Actually, I was working with him at the time, and long story short, he's pretty indulged in the music industry, and I know me coming from Twitch, we just don't it doesn't really mix that well, but he had Twitch streamer friends, and he kind of understands the realm of freelance work, being your own boss. And he kind of like he kind of pep talked me, honestly. He pep talked me. He was like, hey, listen, like, like how much do you have? Like, how much can you really realistically, let's say you wanted to try this for the remainder of the year, which it was August at the time. What if you just wanted to do for the remainder of the year? Just give it a shot, right? Like, you never know. And he was like he's like, I don't mean to pry, but like, how much are you making per month while doing this? Because that's the $1,000,000 question, right? Whether or not it's sustainable or not, it's realistically, how much money are you bringing in? So I was like, you're right. I went home, I took a look at my numbers, and I was like, yeah, like that looks like that's gonna be enough for the span of this last year. That looks like that's gonna cover the bills. We're doing fine. So even if I lose a stream of income with Geek Squad, I'm still gonna be able to like pay rent and buy food and stuff. So I made the decision to quit and pursue full-time streaming. And this video is kind of getting long, so I'm just gonna fast forward it to, okay, so we do well. We actually do very, very well after going full settings Twitch streaming. We're getting the highest viewership of our lives. Fast forward to December, I have another mental breakdown where I was just like, dude, what am I doing with my life, right? Excuse me. So I'm not gonna use the notes anymore. But yeah, I have another mental breakdown, and I'm just like, I'm thinking about my relationship with my dad, and I'm just like, dude, like, and my grandma, and then I'm just like, what am I doing? I'm like, I felt like I was throwing money out the window. I was like, dude, I'm making money right now, and I'm being like, I'm throwing money out the window, and I'm like, I'm not even touching grass. Like, I'm maybe I leave the house at most once a week or every other week. I was just so focused on it. Again, it was my first time ever doing freelance, right? Like, being my own boss. I didn't want to screw it up, so I just barely went outside. So then I had this like kind of mental breakdown where I'm just like, dude, like, I'm spending $1,000 a month. This money, like, it's just going into an incinerator. And so I call my dad, and I'm like, hey, listen, like, how you doing, right? I open up to him, and I'm just like, dude, I'm doing really well right now. And I'm like, how are you doing, right? And he tells me, like, like, dude, we're probably gonna lose the house, and I'm gonna have to sell it because it was just him living in it, and he's still paying off a mortgage. And I'm just like, and I asked him in that moment, I was like, hey, listen, do you want to keep this house, right? Do you want to keep this house? And he's like, of course, right? And he tells me that, like, this is something that he wants to leave behind for his family, like me, my brother, and my sister, because, well, I think what it is that my dad probably, this if I never asked him, but if I were to put myself in my dad's shoes, I think he just feels very apologetic for the things that occurred in our childhood, and our relationship just not being the greatest because of the whole divorce thing. And so he's like, yes, I want to keep this so I can give it to you guys and whatnot. This, like, he's like, I think in his head, he was like, this is going to be my legacy for you guys because I couldn't do more. And I was just like, Dad, I'm coming home. Dad, I'm coming home. And I was in a position where I was making money, right? I was like, I'm seeing at most $5,000 a month. I'm gonna make my dad proud. And I'm going home, Dad. And so my sister then catches wind of this, and she's just like, I'm coming with. And I'm like, all right, okay, cool. So then I book another flight. I'm like, I got money now, Mom. You don't need to pay for my ticket this time. I'm coming down. I'm paying for my ticket. Round trip, baby. I think it was like $400 or something like that. It was actually kind of expensive because we bought the tickets actually kind of last minute because I was making decisions pretty short notice. So then we arranged with my dad, and then my sister was like, oh, but like, what if our dad hates me, right? And I'm just like, no, listen, he's chill now. This is exactly what I told her. I'm like, listen, he's chill now. He's fine. And he is. He mellowed out. I think he's like 40. He's like pushing 50 now. but he mellowed out. Um, and then so I went down to Montreal again, went to go, grab my sister and help her move, right? I helped her out, and because she was pretty much moving her life from one side of the country to the other side of the country, back with my dad, with myself. And so I remember we said our goodbyes to our mom, and my mom was just crying, and I was just like, I know, I was crying too. I was just like, break, dude. I like, why am I crying so much? And I think like I'm just an emotional person, dude. Like when I start crying, I can't stop. I honestly just can't stop. So but I'm staying strong for this video, guys. I'm keeping it pretty lighthearted because I think it's already sad enough that I can't. It's already sad enough that I lost my freaking job, guys. It's already freaking sad enough. I already cried, so it's fine. Yeah. So say goodbye to my mom again. But I'm like, I have money now, right? I have money now. I buy her an air fryer, and I'm like, hey, this is from me. Merry Christmas, because I visit her, I guess, around the Christmas time again. No, actually, it was like no, it was like January. It was like the last week of January, and then when we came back, I was like, all right, it's go time. Move everything. We have the whole vlog about it, so I like, if you guys actually want to go watch that, that's actually on my YouTube channel. It's called Leo's Moving Vlog. It's somewhere on the channel. It was exactly around this time that we made this video. I think we uploaded it in February. But the most of these things occurred in like late January. So yeah, moved back in with my dad, and sorry, see, just hair. I did not shower today. I'm sorry, so my hair is kind of all over the place. So yeah, we moved in with my dad, and things were okay for the first month. Like it was actually great, This, and we're here now in the present. This is kind of like where we're kind of leaving off. I told myself we're gonna make this a little bit quicker. I know this video is getting kind of long, but a month later after I moved into here, Stream Elements, the company, decides to partner up with Twitch, and I'm like, yo, no way, right? Twitch, the big Twitch that I've been streaming on, the platform that I've been streaming on. Hell yeah! Surely they wouldn't screw us over. The creators, they wouldn't screw the creators over, right? Like, with the whole sponsorships thing, and how much money I was making. I was like, yeah, there's no way. If anything, I'm gonna make more money, right? Surely I'm gonna make more money. Yeah, no, actually, so I think something happened where ever since the partnership occurred, the payments just started, the incentives, the goals and everything just started going down, and I was like, what is happening now? Sponsorships are not coming in as often as they were the year of 2024. The entirety of the year 2024, I had a sponsor to do bi-weekly, every single month, bi-weekly. And I made a good amount of money, and now I was lucky to even get one sponsor per month. And not only that, but that sponsor would pay like shit. Like from what we saw before, I think on the average I was making maybe $2,000 to $3,000 a month, which is like that's about like either part-time or borderline full-time work in entry level. Yeah, I was making two to 3,000. Now I was making like, well, it was like 1,000, and then it just kept on decreasing, and I was just like, whoa, what is happening, right? I just moved back in with my dad. I told him I was gonna help him. I told him that this is gonna be like, I was going to be like helping him out and whatnot, and I was like, what the hell? I kept quiet about it because I didn't want to tell my dad. I didn't want to freak him out, right? Like, he was already like kind of like doubtful that like I was making money doing what I did. It took like a couple months for me to kind of be like, hey, this is what I do, and it's okay. But at the same time, I was kind of like, dude, wait, this is kind of going downhill. This is kind of embarrassing. But I was like, listen, like I got this. Fast forward to, actually I need my notes here because there's one pivotal moment where I was just like, how I kind of lasted this long, because this was around March, right? March of 2025, right? Where everything was like kind of like going downhill. So I reached out to Legion in May of 2025, and I was like, "Hey, listen, this is my situation going on right now. Keep in mind, I never really asked anything of Legion, who is the server owner of Blossomcraft, and I was just like, could you help me out, man? Like, I'm kind of freaking out right now." So we make an agreement to he I kind of get it because the scale that I was streaming at. I mean, we were like maybe having like at most like 400 people come out per stream, which is like, you know, pretty good to me. We were getting maybe like 200 viewers on average per YouTube video. I get it. Those are not popular numbers. Like that doesn't scream that this guy makes a full-time living off of content creation. But it was working for me. And Legion always showed his respect to for what I did. And he was like, "Hey, listen, we can set something up. Like let me know how much you're making right now, or just kind of like this, the how much time that I put in," and then he kind of scaled that off of how much he was willing to give me, and that did help out a lot because I was like, oh, that kind of fills the gap that I'm kind of missing here from what I used to make, and I was like, okay, this is cool, right? But so that worked out from March till May. Actually, no, sorry, May till I guess now. And so that is pretty much the full story on, I know this is like an hour-long yap session, and I hope I did it justice. But yeah, that is my story from start to finish, Blossomcraft, etc. Thank you if you guys made it this far. Thank you for supporting me throughout all these years. Honestly, I don't know. I just talked for like a full hour straight, so I'm a little bit like brain fried. I didn't really write anything after that, but yeah, that's the story. And again, I'll still be streaming as much as I can. I'm gonna try to figure out a job and whatnot soon. But if you guys want to come hang out, I will still be live and whatnot. Like, even if I'm playing Maple Story, feel free to come by, ask me about life, ask me about anything, ask me, you know, like I'm still me, right? You know, I'm still the same old guy that was playing Blossomcraft for hours upon hours. I'm just playing a different game now. Just nothing that's one thing I don't really understand is that people who spent years watching me just no longer watch me because of a simple game swap. And it's just like, it's a little bit sad in that regard. But it is what it is. I get it. You know, you want to watch something that, you know, you feel personally connected to. I get it. And I've never in the last like 3 years have I ever asked this, but I pretty much have no more source of income. If you wanted to come by and maybe drop a sub, if you have a Prime sub, that would honestly like help me out. Like, you guys don't understand, it would probably help me out a lot. So come on by, maybe drop a sub, a Prime if you have it, but if not, just come by, say hi. I could honestly really use your support right now. Yeah, and that kind of wraps things up. Again, thank you guys again for watching. I would say hit the like if you like the video, but like it's really not one of those type of videos. So yeah, also last thing I want to mention is that moving forward, I'm probably gonna just only be making Minecraft like or Blossomcraft videos when I feel like it. I told Legion that we're gonna be seeing an 80% decrease in content, but now I kind of just want to focus on Maple Story. It's a game that's providing me joy right now in this hard time in my life. So yeah, we're just gonna be very Maple Story focused moving forward, and I hope to see you guys there. Peace out.